Okay, and we're almost live. I'm just waiting for it to connect. Okay, we're live. I don't know how long we've been live. I just noticed. Sorry. Woo, okay. So Jenny, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. For all of you who are watching this either live or watching the recording, Jenny is a graduate of the 12-week Mood Food Holistic Intensive. She just finished a few weeks ago, and she very generously offered to come, or agreed to come and answer some questions about her experience. I'm talking about mood food all the time. I thought it would be nice to hear it from somebody who's been through the other side. So Jenny, welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions. We're going to keep it nice and conversational. I would say that if people have questions, they can put them in the comment, but I won't see them until after because I'm using a new platform and I don't know what I'm doing yet. So feel free to comment and I will answer after. Okay, so Jenny, why don't you just start by telling us how you found out about this program and what kind of drew you to getting started?
I actually went to a talk by the Port Credit Mocha Moms that you did, Katie, and that's how I met you. And I learned about a little bit about your programs, and I got connected to you. And I think I joined your Facebook group, and then I saw you sort of promoting the program, and it sort of spoke to me. So I reached out and I joined the program.
Awesome. And had you done a challenge or like, did you get a lead magnet? Did you, or like the download before you tried the program, or did you just come right into it?
I'll be honest, I did do the download, but I didn't
Yeah.
actually get a chance to make do the recipe. But I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah. That's why I put the download out there, right? It's a way for folks to kind of check things out without kind of committing. But the truth of it is that most people will grab that and have great intentions, but never really get to it, which is why I like to introduce the coaching to try to get the gears moving.
Right.
So why did you decide that this was the right time for you to get started?
Um, I think I was heading into a big change, like lifestyle wise, near the end of my maternity leave, coming back to work, realizing I had really lost any focus or attention on myself, and that I needed to sort of start thinking about myself and start planning for my new routine. So it was the right time for me. And yeah, it worked out, obviously. I was very
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So based on where you started, what felt different after 12 weeks?
Um, the biggest thing I would say is probably my relationship with food and how I think about food.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not, labeling the good and the bad. I know you talk about that a lot. Not getting caught up in, thinking about calories or fats or the volume or the amount of food that you're eating, but just focusing on what is good for you and your body and what will make you feel good. And that's been a huge change and a shift for me. And also just being able to eat as much as I want of the good stuff, and still feeling good after that's been huge. That's been the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah. And I don't know if many folks know this, but when you do the Mood Food program, I don't have you count anything. So I actually remove the ability to like input carbs and calories and all that. It just, you don't get to do that. Instead, what you do for your food journals is you take a picture and then you write how you felt before you ate the meal and how you felt after. And Jenny was like, you were this like my star student of journaling, and I even stole some of your pictures from my social media because you really dedicated yourself to this practice of it doesn't matter what numbers are involved in what you're eating. You really focused on how those foods made you feel, and you really got introspective about how you deserve to feel and what foods were going to make you feel that way.
Right.
Yeah. So what changes did you commit to throughout the 12 weeks? What did you kind of decide, like, this, I'm going to buckle down, I'm going to do this?
I think a big thing is the actually letting myself reflect on how I feel after I eat something. And
Mhm.
I had never thought to do that before. I mean, something doesn't agree with you, you reflect on that, but not what makes you feel good. And
Mhm.
partway through the program, I was like, this is so powerful. Like when I'm figuring out what is not working for me by actually just paying attention to what I'm putting in my mouth. So that has stuck, and I still continue to do that now. I do still make some bad choices every now and then, but
Not
just from
bad.
that.
These are not
Sorry, yeah,
bad
not bad.
choices.
That's true. I still eat things that don't make me feel good, and I
Yeah.
realize, okay, why did I do that? But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a big learning.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is something that like you'll see in a coaching session frequently, right? Where I'll grab your words and throw them back at you. Because it's really important that we catch this and it's a long process to catch the words coming out of our own mouths. But I can kind of catch these things for you and help you to redirect the um, the thought process that goes along with a food being good or bad, right? Because that means that inherently we are good or bad if we eat or don't eat that food, right? It's complicated and it's unnecessary. And I know you're working through that. So at what point throughout the program, so you did it for 12 weeks, at what point throughout that program do you feel like you locked in and committed to your mental wellness?
Um, I think it was fairly early on because I saw the results and I could feel the traction. So maybe I would say around like the fourth week, probably around
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and what were those results that you talk about?
Just like a lot more energy, like physically more energy. I had been experiencing anxiety
Mhm.
before, and it was kind of like getting a little bit out of control. And changing what I'm eating helped a lot with that as well. So that was a big change, and I noticed that fairly quickly because
Mhm.
of the journaling. I could see how I
Mhm.
was feeling, and my whole sort of outlook and tone had changed. Um, those are probably the biggest things. I did lose some weight too. I know it wasn't about weight loss, but that
Mhm.
was a nice byproduct also.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people lose weight, some people don't on this program. It really, you are a really good example. You follow the meal guides pretty particularly. Um, Portions aside, because portions aren't really a huge part of this program, which I think is interesting because I know you mentioned many times through the program you never like felt like you were starving yourself, um, and you still did lose a little bit of weight, and some people do, some people don't. Like I said, it's not a weight loss program, but when your body came out of that stress mode, it was able to heal a little bit, and that's what healing looked like for you. Right? That's awesome. So why do you think this program worked for you versus doing any other program?
That's a really good question. Well, I mean, logistically speaking, it was very straightforward. It was very helpful. You provide meal guides, you provide the grocery lists. There's the flexibility as far as the amount of food that you eat. It was family friendly, so like my kids could have it. My husband liked it. All of that, like logistic stuff, was convenient. And then, I mean, I like the way that you sort of set things up. That there was the coaching sort of spread out throughout the program,
Mm-hmm.
coaching and education at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
um, it just worked. And then not having labels and not worrying about counting things, just like really reflecting on how you feel about the food, like that was really powerful and a really different approach.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that really worked.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I love what you said that your husband and your daughter liked the food. That's such a big deal, right? Because that's one of the things that's going to take you out of a plan that you're trying to do is if you're having to cook separate meals for yourself and feel like you're restricting from what your family's doing.
Yes.
Your daughter, Jenny's daughter's only a year old and she eats like a champ. She's the things that she would eat. I was so impressed. My son will not eat like that. So that's so often awesome. And your husband found some like health benefits to eating the
Yes.
way you were feeding him, right? It's kind of these little side benefits. So I just want to articulate that the coaching that Jenny's talking about in the 12-week program, we meet every other week via video chat. So we always did our sessions after the kids were in bed, and it's it's comfy. Like we're kind of sitting here. I happen to be in my living room today and usually up in my office. But you're on your couch. Hopefully you're in some jammies or something. You're calm. You've been through your day and you're, yeah, it's easy. It's easy to hop on these calls. There's no prescribed, this is what we do in week 1. This is what we do in week 2, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that. It's individualized. So yes, there's a lot of learning to take place, but no 2 programs will look the same. If you were to talk to somebody else who did the exact same 12-week session that you did, their journey would have looked totally different. Because it really is like we check in at the beginning of a session, talk about how the last couple weeks have been, even though we've usually been in touch quite a bit throughout those 2 weeks, and really get into kind of what you need out of that session. And you were great about knowing what you were looking for, and you got to a point, I would say by don't quote me on this, I would say week 8, you got to the point where you were you were steady, you were really in a really good place, and kind of at that point of, we started to talk about maintenance. We started to talk about how do you keep this going, and we got to have a lot of those really great conversations because you sunk your teeth into this whole thing. Yeah, you're awesome. Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and that is, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about doing a program like this, who's on the fence about prioritizing their mental wellness this way?
Oh, I would say get off the fence and do it. I mean, I know I was a little reluctant about certain aspects at the beginning when I was, diving in to start the program myself, but I'm so glad I did. Taking care of yourself so that you can take care of other people. It's just a whole circle. So you got to put yourself first sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And mental health and mental wellness is just so, so, so important. So do it. Do it.
Yeah. Yes, please. Well, Jenny, is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you want to share about this program or your experience, or just celebrate how awesome you are?
Honestly, I would just say it's a great program. You've been a great coach and a great person to learn from. And I was really happy with the program. So if anyone, I encourage people to really, really strongly consider the program. It's been great.
Thank you so much, Jenny. For anybody who's thinking about it, I am running a 7-day free challenge starting on Monday. The meal guides are going to go out on Saturday, so you have time to shop over the weekend. This is a 7-day Beat Winter Blues mood food challenge. So we are halfway through November at this point. This is when things get tough for us. Jenny had the wherewithal to jump into a program in July, which is another one of the hardest times to take care of your health because it's burgers and beer season. Going into the winter, it's, we have the physical effects of the winter blues, but also there's a lot of holiday stress about to come up. So if you're thinking about it, please, I put the link to the challenge in the caption here, so you can join the challenge. It's free, 7 days of the mood food meal guides, like the ones that Jenny used, and we're going to be doing a webinar in a couple weeks. So stay tuned for all of this, and we're going to help you beat the winter blues and hopefully help you to find the kind of mental wellness and peace that Jenny found with this incredible new relationship with food. So thank you so much, Jenny. I really appreciate you spending your after bedtime quiet time with me. And we'll definitely talk soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much, Jenny. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.